It's a land known for tasty Tim Hortons, ice road truckers, the glamorous and talented Celine Dion, and Bret the Hitman Hart. But behind Canada's peaceful veneer is a military with a fine pedigree and a long history. From being the shock troops of World War I, along with the Aussies, until today's more recent conflict in Afghanistan, Canadian forces have time and again proved their valour. Today, we're going to look at 3 Canadian Gallantry Awards, as well as touch on Canada's recent involvement in the war in Afghanistan. So, let's start with the medals. Medal number 1, the Canadian Victoria Cross. A Canadian Level 1 award, the Victoria Cross is awarded for the most conspicuous bravery, a daring or preeminent act of valour or self-sacrifice, or extreme devotion to duty in the presence of the enemy. Just under 100 Victoria Crosses have been awarded to Canadians or individuals associated with Canada. The last issued to a Canadian recipient was in World War II. Since the creation of the Canadian Victoria Cross in 1993, none, as of the time of this video, have been awarded. The obverse of the Victoria Cross features a bronze cross with a dark brown finish. At the centre is the royal crown surmounted by a lion. Below the crown, a scroll bears the inscription "For Valour." However, the Canadian version replaces this original British version of "For Valour" with "Pro Valour." I'm hoping I've pronounced that right. Unlike the British, Canadians do not get an annual annuity for the award either. The Canadian Victoria Cross is also made from different materials. The original British Victoria Cross is traditionally made from the bronze of cannons captured during the Crimean War. However, the Canadian Victoria Cross is made from a combination of metals, including copper and bronze, sourced from several historic sources significant to military history in Canada. The reverse is left blank for the act of the date to be engraved, as well as the recipient's name, rank and regiment. The ribbon of the Victoria Cross is crimson. Originally, the ribbon was dark blue for naval recipients until 1918, after which the crimson ribbon was adopted for all branches of service. Medal number 2, the Star of Military Valour. This is a Level 2 award. The SMV is awarded for distinguished and valiant service in the presence of the enemy. The obverse of the Star of Military Valour features a gold star with 4 points, with a maple leaf in each of the angles. At the centre of the star, there is a gold maple leaf on a red enamel background, surrounded by a silver laurel wreath. The reverse bears the royal cipher and crown, along with the inscription "Pro Valour." Below this, the rank and name of the recipient are engraved. The ribbon is crimson with 2 thin white stripes towards each edge. A total of 21 have been awarded as of the time of this video. The medal has also been awarded posthumously. Number 3, the Medal of Military Valour. A Level 3 award, this is awarded for an act of valour or devotion to duty in the presence of an enemy. The obverse features a gold medal with a maple leaf at the centre, surrounded by a laurel wreath. The reverse bears the royal cipher and crown, along with the inscription "Pro Valour." The rank and name of the recipient are engraved on the edge of the medal. The ribbon is crimson with 3 vertical white stripes. I feel it's important to shed light on Canada's significant role in the Afghanistan war, as it remains a largely underreported and unfamiliar story outside of Canada. Between 2006 and 2011, Canadian troops were at the forefront, operating in the Taliban's heartland. They participated in NATO's largest battle to that date and displayed extraordinary bravery and resilience in the face of almost insurmountable odds. In 2006, with American focus and resources distracted in Iraq, the Taliban believed they saw an opportunity that they could exploit and topple the Afghan government. Their Pashto tribal heartland and base of support in Kandahar Province, southern Afghanistan, was seen as the ideal area to launch the beginning of an uprising that would take Kandahar city and then spread north to Kabul. A Canadian battle group was the only force standing in the way of that. The Taliban had assessed the Canadians as weak, not as aggressive as the Americans and would, after taking a few casualties, withdraw from the country. They were to be proved wrong. The newly deployed Canadian battle group of just over 2,000 soldiers arrived in the beginning of 2006 at Kandahar airfield. Their area of responsibility, or AOR, would include Afghanistan's second largest city, Kandahar City, the border area with Pakistan towards Spin Boldak, and the mountainous area north of Kandahar. A crucial asset that needed to be protected was Highway 1, a main arterial route that ran through the province towards Helmand, and interestingly past the site of an older British battle that some viewers may find familiar, Maiwand. However, it was to be one area of Kandahar Province that would become infamous to the Canadians operating there, Panjwaii. Panjwaii was a major base of support for the Taliban, whose leadership planned to use it as a staging area to mass fighters to launch an assault on Kandahar city and topple the local government. For the Canadians, it was imperative to take the fight to the enemy and preempt this attack. Panjwaii was a district along the fertile Arkandab River Valley. It was a landscape quite different to much of the other parts of the south. This picture explains the terrain the Canadians were dealing with. Thick with fruit orchards such as grapes, irrigation ditches and thick vegetation in addition to the usual mud brick compounds, the Taliban thought the area impenetrable and could easily establish multiple kill zones and ambush points at close range to any attacking party. Between July and October, in two bloody, brutal and hard-fought operations known as Operation Zahara and Operation Medusa, Canadians, vastly outnumbered by Taliban forces, at least 1,500 strong, were tasked with taking the Taliban headquarters, a fort known as the White School in central Panjwaii. The Taliban had had months to prepare and defend this locality, planting hundreds of IEDs, fortifying buildings, digging trenches and spider holes, as well as preparing fixed ambush points. This was the biggest battle Canada had been involved in since World War II and Korea, and also NATO's biggest battle to that point. Evacuating civilians from the fighting, both sides confronted each other in combat resembling World War II. Just to give you an idea of the scale of the nature of fighting, in one initial contact, known as the Battle of the White School, 14 Canadians, many combat ineffective and suffering heatstroke, were ambushed by approximately 150 to 200 Taliban fighters. Rules of engagement, such as restrictions on air support, hampered the initial operation. Although the first operation did prevent an attack on Kandahar, the Taliban were still occupying Panjwaii. Having to withdraw and regroup after Operation Zahara, the Canadians then launched their second Operation Medusa in September. This time there was to be no withdrawal. Showing remarkable heroism and resilience, the Canadians battled not only the enemy but the climate, day in, day out, fighting in temperatures of 45 to 50 degrees centigrade with all their equipment and kit on. They slowly ground down the Taliban, even using bulldozers to drive a pathway towards the White School to avoid the countless IEDs placed on every arterial route into that location. After weeks of bloody fighting, the White School was eventually captured. In all, at least 16 Canadians and 2 US soldiers lost their lives, along with 50 Canadian soldiers wounded. Stars of Military Valour would also be awarded to Canadian troops in the operation, one posthumously. In return, the Taliban suffered over 1,000 losses, and importantly, the planned offensive on Kandahar was permanently cancelled. After defeat, the Taliban would retreat to the mountains, reassess their strategy, and focus on asymmetric warfare, never again facing the Canadians in direct, open confrontation. From that date until 2011, the Canadians, with limited resources to police the whole province, would face a continual, grinding and bloody insurgency, eventually handing over their combat mission to Afghan and US forces. I will leave you with a quote from one Canadian veteran. "We can hold our heads high, knowing that we did everything that our government asked us to do. Our members served with valour and selflessness. We were there to make a difference, and they did. Thanks for watching. I hope you found some value from this, and I'll see you in the next one.